Hey everybody, welcome in to another edition of This Week in Flyers Hockey. I'm your host, James Scorza, with you, and with me, as always, is my group of companions on a very snowy South Philadelphia here in the Delaware Valley. And joining us, like always, is Joey Marks and Austin Hammel. Gentlemen, how are we doing after basically a good positive week for the Orange and Black, getting 2 out of 3 on the road trip? And it's a good way to start a new trend here tonight here in South Philadelphia, but hopefully you guys are doing well during this crazy snowstorm we dealt with in the last 24 hours or so.
Yeah, I'll tell you this right now. You can throw a bucket of water out there and have a nice pond hockey right
Yeah,
on the middle of the street. Yeah, I'll tell you that right now. 24 degrees and below zero wind chills. From time to time, I feel like we're up in Canada. So
yeah,
yeah, it was a good positive week for the Fly guys. We're gonna get into a lot of it this show, and staying warm.
yeah, absolutely. Austin, I wonder
Yeah,
how was it over your end? Because obviously you're a few miles away from us,
yeah.
obviously in the South Philadelphia area.
I'm a few hours out from you guys, and man, it was crazy up here, dude. We got just about a foot of snow up where I'm at, but like you guys said, even with the really cold temperatures, the Flyers seem to be heating up this week. So
Yeah,
looking forward to the game tonight for them, especially as I cannot wait to start talking about that Avalanche game though.
oh yeah, man, me too. You know what's funny? I was watching the game on I was actually at a bar with actually at a restaurant where I'm seeing a buddy of mine's band, and I've been watching it really closely. But the time I got home, my cable crapped out. And the worst part about it was that I didn't see like the last few goals that they scored. I mean, when they made it 5-3, I didn't see the sixth or seventh goal. I was like, damn. And then I mean, I obviously didn't see the highlights of it, but I think the last time I probably watched the game was close was probably that Vegas game on the night of the national championship.
Mm.
So that Utah game was a little bit stressful though because the Flyers had
Whew.
some chances, and I kudos to Hardcore Sports Network for giving that that share of Christian Dvorak's goal against in Utah. But most importantly, yeah, it's been a good week for the Orange and Black, taking 2 out of 3 in Vegas, and also overtime loss, but getting a point out of it in Utah, and also at the Avalanche just scoring a touchdown, an extra point against the Stanley Cup, hopeful Stanley Cup champs in the Colorado Avalanche. But to piggyback what you said about the snowstorm, Joey, this is perfect like football weather. If the Eagles were in the NFC Championship weather, this would be a perfect like snowball like celebration for the Eagles for sure, though. But and
This
also
is where you want to get your boys together and
play
get
some football. Yep.
you play some football.
Tackle
yeah.
football,
Yeah.
football too, and also the other thing too is that to get like a bucket of water. I mean, the one thing I wanted to do going back to when I was in Grace Ferry is try to get like kids like that don't know the first thing about hockey when it's snowed and just put get 2 goaltender nets and play some hockey and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, but we got a lot to get to, so we'll try to talk about it for the next hour or so here. So the Flyers overall did, like I said, over the week had a good week. Against Vegas, they had a good week overall, taking 2 out of 3. So Joey, I'll ask you the first question. Do you think how do you think the Flyers overall did this week, especially in your eyes, after a very good week in those 3 games on that road trip?
Yeah, you know what? Like last episode, I said I undershot and underscored what my expectations were for the Fly guys, and I think it has a lot to do with them coming off the losing streak. I think it has a lot to do with them still being a young team. I think it has a lot to do with the idea of what last year was like for both, for all of us,
Sure.
and like for me, I was skeptical, but when I'm like, okay, you beat Vegas. I'm like, okay, all right, did not see that coming, but all right, I'll take it. I'll take it. Steal points. All right. Then you go to Utah, and yeah, there were certain situations in that game that the Fly guys didn't really take full advantage of.
Mhm.
But they still stole a point, so that I can be okay with. And then
Mhm.
going into Colorado, God, I just felt like, okay, we have 3 points in the pocket for the week. We could take an L here. It's fine. Okay, we go to Colorado, we get our asses spanked. I get it. I understand. No, they flipped that notion on the head too, because the Fly guys are like, this is what I kind of said once before.
Mhm.
these big time clubs like the Avalanche and the Knights, they think, okay, the Flyers are just a team that we can they're roll over and die. They know their place. They know their role. So they're going to just roll over and die. And then all of a sudden the Flyers come in and go, "Oh no, that's not what we are. We're going to come in and we're going to smack you in the face and take whatever we can take from you. Look, you might have the more talent. This is for sure, but we are we always say with football, but so I don't know what you would say in hockey, but in every given Sunday, it's like every given game for the Flyers is an opportunity for them to take another step forward in the growth of this team. And I'll tell you right now, some of the guys who I've been calling for, Konechny, Mitchkov, Owen Tippett, some of these guys are coming to the forefront like I wanted to do. And you got to think, okay, 3 out of these 3 games, you have what, 6 more remaining or so before the Olympic break. You got to look at these 3 games, at least against these opponents. It's a really good, I said they have to finish strong before the Olympic break. This is a really good start to finishing strong. And you build confidence. You build team morale. You build confidence. So, man, I under predicted, and I'm happy to be wrong, but I under predicted and undervalued what the Flyers could really do against these teams. But it proves to me that you shouldn't take anything for granted with this team this season.
Absolutely. So also, I'll ask you the same question here. But in your own eyes, how do you think the Flyers did overall in the last week? I mean, it's good enough getting 3 points out of it more than anything on the road trip. It's not nothing to sneeze about here. It's been a really good week for the Orange and Black, I admit.
Yeah, it wound up being a really, really good week. I mean, definitely the fact of getting 2 wins out of those 3 games, getting points in all 3 is huge.
Yeah.
You also, I think the Utah game might have, in my opinion, been the first kind of ugly loss that they've had this whole year, considering even how that losing streak went, which was pretty ugly. But I think that game against Utah was probably one of the uglier losses I've seen from them this year. Failing to convert on an empty net, being up 3-0 early and letting them claw their way back into that game to be able to force the overtime. Then you come back out, you would think, this team's completely deflated after that. They come out and go shot for shot in the first 2 periods with Colorado and then open up to end that game. Absolutely way more than I expected from them going into this week, especially the Colorado game. Right. Like that game alone, I looked at that one on the calendar. I was like, I honestly, I'm not even trying to sound pessimistic, but I had that one chalked up as a loss. Like, you're going up against the best team in the league, but it also showed we gave them a lot of power play opportunities and they didn't convert. I talked about it with you guys a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago now. Colorado is not as efficient when they're up a man than they are at even strength. All their goals were scored even strength.
Right.
It was just really good open ice movement, and 2 of them were big contributions by McKinnon.
Gotcha.
If you can contain McKinnon and force them to play in the special teams where they're not as efficient, you have a better chance at beating them. And they had so many good opportunities, but Ersson has been
staying tall,
incredible, answering the call of "we need you now, dude."
Yeah, right.
Like Vladar, we don't know when Vladar's coming back at this current point. So for Ersson to be able to step up and have the performances that he's had so far this week,
game of the year for him. Game of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Three or 4 really good deflections right in front that he was still able to keep his eye on and get a piece of. Man, he's been playing out of sight. The Vegas game, they pelted at him too.
Yeah, man.
They were peppering him heavy. And then to go from the essentially try and just bowl you over type of offense that you saw from Vegas to the more finesse and pick their spots type of work that you got from Colorado, to be able to answer the call on both of those and still see, even though, you give up that lead to the Utah Mammoth, you still had a really solid goaltending performance in that game. That overtime was very hectic. And and Emerson was good in that one too. So, you know, he had the time off after the Colorado game to sort of let that one sink in, and now he's going to be playing the Islanders, who are no slouch again. And you're what, as of right now, I think it's 4 points out of a playoff spot. Three would put a win tonight would put you one back of Boston for the second wild card spot. Like, dude, you're in an incredible position right now. And like what Joe said, with 6 games left to play before the Olympic break happens, you have all the room in the world to work with right now.
Yeah.
If you can close that gap and even jump ahead before you go into Olympic break, you go into break with so much confidence.
And within the Olympic break, you get healthier. So you come out of it, you go into it, and you just grind out these points by hook or by crook, and then you go into that Olympic break and you're getting healthier. And then you come out and you go, okay, this is the home stretch. Let's put our best foot forward. Let's put the gas pedal down and see how fast this car can really go. Because at this point, and we've said this before, you know, making the playoffs, it still puts them ahead of schedule in the rebuild. So if you go into the Olympic break, even with still being where you are now, or even further closer to a playoff spot, then you go into that Olympic break and then get healthier. You come in, if you're Rick Tocchet, you come in and you say to your team, like, look, there's a home stretch. We need to put the gas pedal all the way down and see how fast this car can really move. We're ahead of schedule. Let's stay ahead of schedule. Let's stay ahead of what we are capable of doing. And we're going to see how far this flushes out, because I've said this before, James, they get into the tournament in NHL, anything can happen.
It's like a March Madness tournament. Like, anything is possible.
Anything can happen. And so, like, all bets are off. Everything, like, when you look at the NFL now, like, the first top 2 seeds pretty much in both conferences made it to the championship game. So there isn't that, like, there could be, but there isn't always that parity that there is in other leagues. In the NHL, there is incredible parity once you get into the tournament. And so I feel like the Flyers have to look at it as, we don't have to punch our ticket where we have to be the 3rd seed or the 4th seed and work our way up like the Eagles would have. We have to punch our ticket, period, and just ride that gas tank until it goes on E.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
a foot in the door is better than no shot at all, you know? And
definitely.
I feel like this team understands that, on top of the whole fact of everybody's already counted you out for the most part because of your previous seasons. So you are, like, I've used this term a ton throughout the season. You're playing with a lot of house money, and you are making really good bets on yourself so far this season. I did see Bruce there brought up a good question.
about Michkov.
Asking about trading Michkov for Panarin, which would be to the Rangers, not the Islanders. Panarin has a full no trade clause. He got that when he got his extension when he first signed there, and they've just carried that on. So it would have to be, he would have to allow that trade to happen. And I don't think, with how loved he is in New York and how much he means to that franchise, I don't think he lets that trade happen.
No, I don't think so either.
And as good of a player as he is, you know who I would like to see, honestly, even though he hasn't been as good as originally billed when he played in Chicago, Alex DeBrincat.
Yeah, I was a big DeBrincat fan.
Yeah, DeBrincat is a really solid offensive talent. I just feel like he's just pushed down the depth chart in Detroit, and it sort of affected him a little bit. I mean, it could be that that's just the player that he is, a very middling, okay enough goal scorer. But I think there's a few really solid pieces out there that you could potentially explore. But with the way this team is made up right now, I kind of like what we have. But if we can make an addition that's for some, especially just a guy that already fits the vibe of how this team is playing, I would be more than down for that. But there are some guys that you can tell like they don't match that kind of style. But I would like to see a DeBrincat, like a guy like an Alex DeBrincat. I don't know if Philadelphia would be willing to part with Matvei Michkov for making that deal. But
maybe
at
somebody
the
like
point, yeah, I mean, at the point that you're at right now, you ask as many questions as possible. You're a team that's you're right now, as of today, a stone's throw from a playoff spot. Granted, there's still a good amount of season left to play, and we do have the Olympic break coming up soon.
Yeah.
Spend some of that time on the Olympic break making some phone calls. Find out players that teams are willing to part with, and see what you could probably put together to add to this team to give them a really solid piece to make a push for it, maybe even an even higher playoff spot. So like I said, there's a lot of options out there. The main one that I would want to see would be like an Alex DeBrincat. I doubt they would do it. See if Colorado would maybe want to part with a Brock Nelson.
Brock Nelson or Marty Natchez.
Yeah, Marty Natchez, they're not going to move. They just signed him to an 8-year extension about 2 months ago.
Yeah,
so they're gonna hang on to him. But there's a few guys that I would at least ask about. Even if the answer is no, you at least put the feeler out there for it. So that way, if something does happen, next season, and things start to sour between those guys, it's like, oh yeah, hey, Briere had called about this guy. Let me see if he's still interested now. So if you can at least put that bug out there for a few different teams for a few different pieces, there's something that could happen right away, or it's something that could end up developing sometime next year. And like I said, the way this team is built right now, I like it. So there's not really too much I'm willing to part with. But if you can get something done, definitely try for it. And especially if it helps this team throughout the season.
I mean, that's the thing. When you're making those phone calls, not only are you asking about players on other teams, you're also getting perspective of what players on your team, other teams are interested in. So you then know where your market is. Like who are you willing to give up out of the people that those other teams are interested in? Now, that being said, that's going to make a difference with your team dynamic moving forward. So like if you trade a Matvey Michkov, like the feeling you have to ask yourself is, okay, was what we traded to get worth the trade that we gave up? Because we're giving up a 20-something for what? Like a sure thing? Like but I'm with you, Austin. Like having those feelers, having those conversations, putting those bugs out there. James, me and you have talked about it so many times in the past.
Oh yeah.
That other GMs, like when Hextall or when Holmgren was the GM, like they would put out feelers for certain players, and like the rumors would hit about like, oh well, the Flyers are interested in Steven Stamkos, or they're interested in Tarasenko, or they're interested in Jack Eichel. And every time I heard some of these trades, I'm like, why aren't we doing this? Like I remember
basically pulling a Dabrowski without calling him a Dabrowski.
Right. It's like you're putting something out there, and it's like sounds so good to do, yet you're not doing it. And I think it's kind of what Austin's saying. It's just conversation. Like right now it's just conversation. And that's fine to have, because you don't know when that opportunity might arise where you need to pull the trigger. Now, I wish they would have pulled the trigger back in the day for the Claude Giroux, Steven Stamkos deal. I would have liked.
The one thing that would be another good asset too is for the Panthers. I mean, obviously, I got traded to the Panthers at the time, but it was like Frankfurt Toronto was a big storyline in that big because at first when we traded Giroux, I thought we traded him away for probably assets at the same time too. I mean, that's probably what it came down to more than anything with Giroux, because
here's
Owen Tippett actually became a good player.
Right, he's the one that just scored a hat trick against Colorado. Right? This is a guy who, like, when we talk about what we get back in return, this is one of the reasons why I've been calling his name, because I'm like, look, I can dislike the way Giroux led. I don't disagree with how talented Giroux was. Like people misconstrued, oh, you don't like Giroux, you don't think he's a good player because of him scoring all those goals. Like, no. He's a talent, but he wasn't a leader. Like you could be a good player and not wear the C. Like that is perfectly fair. But this is where I was like, okay, we gave up a talented guy like Claude Giroux. With Owen Tippett, it was a slow burn to increase his talent. But now
Yeah.
you're starting to see it shine through. And it's like,
Hmm.
this is what I want to see. Because we gave up Claude Giroux. I need to see you maybe not achieve the way that Claude Giroux would have or to that level, but close enough. Like, I need to see value
Hmm.
back for what we gave up. So, yeah, I mean, look, when we talk about trades and we talk about and we'll be talking about this for the next month up until the trade deadline. This is the thing that having these conversations, having these rumors, envisioning what the team might look like. I still feel like the best assets that you could possibly get rid of or trade away to maybe get back more talent is someone like a Coots or a
Hmm.
Konechny or even like a Sanheim. Now, look, all of that or like a Rustalainen, like I know all
I
of
think
that
if I
comes
think
with
I'm sorry, Joe.
all of that comes with risk. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
that's what I was gonna say. It's like probably risky. Like I mean,
Yeah,
Rusto with that. I mean,
Mhm.
everything could be risky. You know.
Yeah, everything comes with risk, but trading Claude Giroux for an unproven Owen Tippett at that point, but a high
Sure.
ceiling was a risk, and it still is because we still haven't seen him at his prime, Owen Tippett.
Hmm.
So we need to. That's one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, I need to see what you can really do because I need to evaluate whether this trade was a bust or whether it was gangbusters. Like that's what I need to see.
Yeah, I'm with
Um,
you.
so look, I think this team is in a good position. And a lot of people I heard this past weekend while being snowed in on WIP call in to Broads and complain about, they need a superstar.
Hmm.
Where I think that that's partly true, I think when you look at a team like the Flyers, they remind me a lot of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Hmm.
They remind me a little that of this team that can prove that they can play well, at least for now, without that superstar. That they
A
let
very good
all their
point.
stars shine bright.
Yeah, it's a valid point. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I look at Oklahoma City Thunder like they did last year, and like they were so successful. I mean, they have like a young team that kind of is in the same belt as the Flyers, and it kind of feels like the same belt as some of these teams are in the Super Bowl right now with that lack of young talent with Drake May and Sam Darnold.
Yep.
That's the same kind of because you think about it. I mean, you think about the teams that are in the NHL right now. It's like either like you said, like the Flyers. I mean, there's not a lot of teams out there that you thought a couple years ago that it was either like the Lightning, like going to Stanley Cups with Stamkos, and the list goes on, and it was the Panthers. But now this year, it feels like I don't know. Maybe it's just like it's wide open. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's like a wide open league that it once was. I mean, like you mentioned with Oklahoma City Thunder, like last year winning the NBA Finals, and like the league being wide open for that. This year in the NFL, I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, but the good thing about it too is that the unknowns are actually becoming the centerfold of the sports teams in all phases in NFL, football, and NHL, basketball, like all around it, like all around. I mean, that's
I
the
mean,
one thing.
the Blue Jays went to the World Series,
Yeah,
and they
right.
really didn't have like that superstar.
Yeah,
Like they had Vlad Guerrero Jr., they had
Bo
Bo
Bichette,
Bichette, but like they didn't have
obviously.
that like superstar.
Yeah.
And so like that's the thing. But like when you looked at the Dodgers, that they had a lot of superstars.
Hmm.
And so yeah, that matters when you come across like a team. That's why I think we're all impressed with that Avalanche win
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
that team has superstars. And we could have very well went into their house and wilted under the pressure of the immense amount of talent that Colorado has
Hmm.
versus the talent that we have. But this is where hockey differs from a lot of other sports. Everything goes on its edge. And so no pun intended. And so when you are a team that's hungry enough for it, as
Hmm.
long as you have star power enough to carry you through the day and you have a goaltender, that
Hmm.
matters.
That's most important.
That's why Dan Villard is so like important to this piece of this puzzle. Because
Mhm.
even though Erison like did a bang up job in
Admirable
Colorado,
job.
but you can't expect that for 7 games.
No,
Like
I
it's
I
lightning,
agree.
it's lightning in a bottle. That's fine. I'll take it because it was a victory.
Yep.
But you're not going to get that for a 7-game series. So look,
Let me ask you this, Joe. Let's say, for example, hindsight being 2020 here, right? And the Flyers make the postseason.
Mm.
Do you think that the Flyers will do game 1 being Vladar, game 2 being Erson? I mean, I know it's a little asinine to think about, but I mean, I thought about this before because I thought this happened in, I think it was 2020 with Carter Hart and I don't know who the goaltender was at the time. It was either Mike. It was why am I troubling on his name? Was it
Leno?
No.
Leighton? Michael
No,
Leighton?
no, I don't know. It was they rotated him, Carter Hart, and somebody else.
Stolars? No.
Might have been. No. Wait. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, who was it? No, it wasn't.
It was like a rotation. It was like game 1, it was Hart, and 2 was the other guy.
He had played in Washington.
He played with the Blues. He played with the Blues.
Brian Elliott.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
Brian Elliott. I knew it would come to me.
Yeah, but so like, do I think? Here's the thing, because I'm not.
I mean, I know it's a little
sure.
like asinine, like apples and oranges, but I'm just kind of figuring out something here.
Here's what I'm curious about. I mean, with the NBA, especially in the first round, they do one game 1, then a day off, then game 2, then a day off, and sometimes, depending on especially the first round, they even do game 1, 2 days off, and then game 2. And
yeah, they rotate a lot. Yeah, that's true.
So if NHL is anything like that in round 1 at least, yeah, I could see them not like rotating out. I could see them riding Villard all the way through that first round.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I thought too.
The part you're going to get dicey about is when you get down to if you get to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's where things get a little bit more hairy. And so you may have to lean on an Erison for a game or 2. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Do I think you have 20 games after riding Villard for as long as you have for this season? Do I think you have 20 games worth of Villard in the playoffs? That's tough. It's a very tough thing to do.
I mean, it's different than it was obviously in 2010 when you had Brian Boucher and Michael Leighton.
Yes,
because it was either that was Boucher was there for mass majority of the time until he got hurt, and then Leighton came back. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, back then, it's kind of like baseball a little bit. Kind of like you don't want to like kind of put him on a pitch count to see how much can he pitch, like kind of like the Strasburg effect. But at the same time, too, I mean, obviously, it
feels like you don't. It's like the closer effect in baseball. You don't want to start your closer, or you don't want to play your closer 3 straight games in the playoffs. Yeah, like even though it's the playoffs, you still don't want to do it.
You don't want to waste his arm,
right? You don't want to tax him out in the first round.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think they'll lean on Villard a little bit more in the playoffs, but yeah, I could see an Erison start here and there.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, you look at Erson right now, how he's been playing, and also Vladar coming back from that injury. It's kind of like it will be like one game you have Vladar, one game you'll have Erson, and then I mean, unless Vladar is like really healthy and he says, you know what, I'm gonna like if he has a good game, I'm starting him in game 2. You know, I mean, you never know in this day and age. That's why I kind of asked the question.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously tonight the Flyers take on the Islanders in the first game here tonight, and basically on a very good swing here tonight. So overall, Joey, Austin, if you could, what were your keys to this game here tonight? Like, would be having. I think the same success for the keys of the game here tonight is like, dare I say, Jalen Hurts' quote here, keeping the main thing, right?
Yeah,
Joey,
100%. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. You know, the main thing is going to be just trying to keep it as simple as possible. Sorokin is a really tough goaltender to have to play against, and he's been really solid throughout the year. So you just want to be able to try and find the cracks in him early so you can get ahead early and hold that lead, because the Islanders can be a team that if you slouch for a little bit, they're going to end up coming back to bite you.
Absolutely. Joey?
So a couple of my keys are very similar to Austin. So the one first key that I would have is solve the goaltender early. Solve them with shots. Basically, if they solve this goaltender early, even with the one goal, it might open up the dam. And we saw what happens when this offense for the Flyers really starts to thrive. Man, they can light the lamp a lot. And I didn't think they had it all of that in them, but damn it, they do. And so good on them. So what they have to do is continue the momentum from Colorado, the offensive momentum, and they have to solve this goaltender early. The second one is no dumb penalties. Stay out of the penalty box.
Absolutely.
Because let them be the ones that, take the dumb penalties and put them at a disadvantage. I don't like the Islanders on the power play. So for me, it's okay, especially with Sam Harrison possibly being the starter tonight. Like the idea that I don't want him to come off of a really good game with Colorado and just get shelled because of our guys making dumb mistakes and dumb penalties. And the third and final key for this game in my mind is the idea of having the continued scoring, the continued offensive momentum from players like Mitch Koff, Owen Tippett, Travis Konechny, and even Devin Barkey. I love the fact that JJ.
He's been really good for us.
Denver shoots a goal, gets a goal in Denver. It's only fitting.
That's pretty creative.
So for me, again, we go back to what we said before. Grunstrom and Barkey and some of these younger guys that are just coming up. I want to see more. And maybe that's greedy, but I want to see more. I want to see more from Owen Tippett. I want to see more from Mitch Kopp. Look, if you want to be the new Russian Rocket, prove it. Okay, prove it. Score goals, make yourself be known. Look, the time is now, and you can make a really big impression by scoring and being a contributor offensively every night. And that means you got to continue what you started in Colorado and continue it against the Islanders tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, we'll go down the list here as we go further here, because the Flyers play Columbus on Wednesday and a back-to-back against the Bruins on Thursday, and then to close out the week, obviously it's the Kings coming into town taking on the Flyers in a matinee, actually 12:30 game. It's like an old school NHL and NBC matinee type of game. But for me, I think the one thing that I was really excited to see the last couple games is that, like, when Colorado was bouncing back in that game on Friday, I said to myself, dude, they're gonna destroy us. They're gonna destroy us every which way. And then I come home and it's like 3-3. I'm thinking, oh God, here we go. Kind of like waiting for that other shoe to fall, and it never did. I mean, they bounced back and scored 2 goals in a matter of a few seconds of each other. And it's just like, okay, so it's 5. I was like, okay, it's 4-3, but Colorado's going to tie the game up again. And then there was 5-3. I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. And then 6 and then 7. I'm thinking like, oh, okay. So I didn't have that on my bingo card either.
No.
But most importantly, it was like I said, it was it was definitely a needed break for the Flyers, especially because obviously that Utah game was kind of a struggle for them, obviously, when Utah came back and won that game for them. But for me, the Vegas game and the Colorado game kind of springboard into a little bit of this streak right now, and they needed that, especially after the disappointing 7-game losing streak. And I think the one thing I'll give Brian Boucher a ton of credit was, because he said, I think after that Rangers game, the post game, I think I brought it up to you guys last week, and he said the Flyers have to do, the one thing they have to get back on track is they have to score either 1 or 2 goals to try to get back that momentum. And when you know it, like after that game against the Vegas Golden Knights, it was a 2-1 battle. Basically the Colorado game just springboarded into a little bit of a streak right now. And that's exactly what the Flyers desperately needed, especially going into these next couple of weeks before the Olympic break. And I think that's going to continue here tonight against the Islanders because, I mean, no offense to the Islanders. I mean, they're a good team, but obviously they're still trying to find what their edge is. But even like you said, Austin, with Ilya Sorokin being the player he is, I mean, he is beatable. But Columbus, on the other hand, Columbus is looking on the outside looking in. I think that's going to be something that the Flyers could probably do a lot of damage on Columbus's part. Obviously, they're not the same team, obviously, since the late Johnny Gaudreau passed away. So, I mean, but I think they're still trying to figure out what they're trying to be as a team. I mean, they're still a young team, but overall, that Boston game at TD Garden on Thursday, I mean, that's going to be tough, especially what Boston does. They're basically on the same level of they're basically back to the same team as they once were a couple years ago when they went on that streak. Pasternak's really good. They got a lot of good players on that team. I think Minton is another player that dawns on me a lot, that I've been hearing his name a lot these last couple games or so with Boston. And even more so, they got a good goaltender. They got two good goaltenders in Jeremy Swayman and Jonas Corposello. So it's going to be one of those games. I mean, if I had to pick one that could be the barn burner, if that's the case, I could see Boston and the Kings early bird up in LA that 9:30 in the morning Pacific time at 12:30 here on the East Coast. But yeah, I mean the Kings for me, I mean, it's going to be something to rely on, especially what they're going to look like. That's another good team they got up there. I mean, they got a lot of good players on that team, and the goaltender has been really stellar here too. So, I mean, I do see the Flyers have some success this week overall. If they can go 2-2 on the road on this streak here this week, the 2 games in Columbus and Boston back-to-back, and those 2 games here at home against the Islanders and the Kings. I mean, you are looking really in good shape before this Olympic break happens in the next couple weeks or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you're trying to, especially the way that Austin brought this up earlier, we're just behind Boston. You get to that Boston series, you said it was back-to-back, James. Like, you get back-to-back with Boston. You take either one of those 2 and split, or you take 2 of those 2. All of a sudden, the conversation flips. Not even just that we put ourselves in a playoff spot, but that we're not sitting back waiting for our turn. We're going to go take it. And that is going to be the big difference. This week is going to be the key to whether or not this team is ready to take that seat at the table for the playoffs. And I know we got a ways, but it matters to be able to sustain and build towards that, because the last thing you want to do is get buried. And in past years, the Flyers have always gotten a little bit buried behind points and behind other teams and needed help. This time, go and take it versus waiting around for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin, I'll ask you this question. Overall, I just brought up the whole spiel of the week for the Flyers. Obviously, Islanders tonight, Blue Jackets Wednesday, Bruins Thursday, and the Kings on Saturday. Overall, where do you see this team going? How do you see this team play to the capability against these teams this week, especially after a very decent road trip?
Yeah, I feel like the Colorado game yesterday was the mental reset that you were looking for, coming off of, the losing streak that you had. The wins against Vegas and Colorado are big for the mental for Philadelphia coming into this week. You're definitely going to be carrying a lot of that momentum from the Colorado game coming in back home to play New York. The Bruins play the Rangers tonight. Flyers are off tomorrow. Bruins are doing the second half of a back-to-back playing the Predators tomorrow night. Then they're off Wednesday. We play Columbus Wednesday. Thursday could be the day that game could determine if Philadelphia is in that spot and Boston's out, or vice versa. That becomes such a huge game this week for Philadelphia in terms of where they're going to stand in the playoff picture as we get closer to this Olympic break starting.
Yeah.
You need to carry every ounce of momentum that you can through all of these games and steal as many points as you can. Even with Boston, like even if you do go to a shootout and lose, you at least stole points. So you're still close. So you then go into playing LA on Saturday and you have a lot of work. I wouldn't even say a lot of work to do. You have work that needs to be put in to keep yourself within that stone's throw still. Because you're at a stone's throw right now. The more that you can keep getting points, the closer you're going to stay to that playoff spot, the better chance you have of being able to sneak in by the time it's all said and done this regular season and just be able to snag that spot.
Joey, I'll ask you the same question like I asked Austin here. How do you think the Flyers will do this week against those opponents that I brought up here?
So I think that there's a higher likelihood that they can steal points from each game. I think that each game there's an opportunity to at least come away with a point. I think with the Islanders, you could obviously see that they could win that game. It's like I said, if they solve that goaltender early, it will make a big difference in the whole game. Columbus, it's like you said, they're still in rebuild mode and recovery mode. So I feel like that could be a victory. Now, going into Boston, I agree with Austin, is that back-to-back and going into Boston and it being a very big game, and it's not hidden that it would be a big game for both teams, because it's very likely that if Boston goes into that game, and whether they are behind us or in front of us still, that game will matter for positioning, and we could overtake them within that game. And Boston doesn't want to lose more ground. I would say that no team wants to lose more ground, especially going into this Olympic break. They want to all be able to go into the Olympic break being able to say they have some level of momentum going in. So I could see them stealing a point in Boston. I could see that. And then with LA, I feel like, that's always a coin flip to me, because LA always somehow plays us tough.
They do.
I'm also going to sit here and say that may be another overtime, either a victory or a loss. So I see this team walking away from this week with at least 5 points. And I feel confident that however that looks and however that's done, I feel like 5 points is a significant victory when it comes down to these 4 games this week and keeping the momentum alive going forward into the Olympic break.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the other thing too here, man. Is that I mean, sometimes when I think about this Flyers team, especially what the week they had, that Boston game is going to be must-see TV. I think that's going to be definitely going to be one of those games that you look down to as this could be a Stanley Cup playoff preview, either first or second round. For me, I think I'm right there with you guys. I see some 5 points out of it too. I see like some overtime points. Overtime. I mean, obviously it'll be like either like an overtime loss, but they get into overtime and get a point out of it. Overall, I mean, the way this week has gone for the Flyers, it's just that they have been. I think they're moving one step closer to where they are as a team now. I mean, now we're getting like closer and closer to the end, almost to the Olympic break, and also at the end of the Olympic break, because it's obviously it's a 2-week Olympic break. They'll be playing on February 5th, and then they'll close it down until the 25th. The next time they'll be playing, and by that time, that will be the second half of the season, and right then and there, it will show you, okay, now it's time for the Flyers to, around crunch time, to really show what they are as a team. And that's the most important thing. I think for me, if they can get like 5 points out of it this week, and especially a game here tonight against the Islanders and back-to-back with Columbus and Boston on Wednesday and Thursday, I mean, you're going to be a lot. I mean, that's going to be a lot of good things to look forward to here this week, especially, and they'll be in good shape here. And also the Kings. I agree with you, Joe. I mean, every time when I think about the Kings, it's either that sometimes it's like in the favor of the Kings or it's in the favor of the Flyers. Sometimes it's like hit and miss what the circumstance may be. And obviously, it will be probably a game that the Flyers can get a win out of it, but also it's a really early game. It's a 12:30 game on Saturday afternoon, so hopefully the Flyers will bounce back on that too. But speaking of, I should bring this up now before I forget here. So obviously we'll have 2 more shows here on the program before the Flyers get done the Olympic break, but tune in on February 14th, right, Joe?
That's Saturday. That's Patterson Ave Sports Show. But February 16th.
6th. I'm sorry.
February 16th on This Week in Flyers Hockey. We will be airing our Jim Jackson interview to kind of review the first half of the Flyers season and preview a little bit more of the Flyers second half of the season. So we're looking forward to having that interview with JJ once they go into Olympic break, because JJ is going to be on Olympic break. He's going to be on vacation. So we're going to catch an interview with him before he goes on vacation.
Absolutely. And the other thing too is that it will be right around Super Bowl weekend, obviously too, but also it will be something that it'll be good to know to talk to JJ once again here, because obviously the last time we talked to him was around the Flyers off season, and there was still Stanley Cup playoffs and all that included. So it'll be good to know to hear JJ's sights and also sights and sounds of what he will bring to the table, especially what the Flyers will do in the second half of the season between the Flyers and the Kings. And obviously, before we get out of here, I guess we should go around the National Hockey League real quick here, if I can look it up here for 1 sec here. Because also gave me an idea about who's going to be on the slate here tonight. I mean, there's a couple games going on this slate here tonight on this Monday
of NHL. Along with the Flyers playing at 7 against the Islanders, it is Bruins Rangers in New York at 7 p.m. And Utah coming out to the East Coast to play Tampa at 7 as well. And then the nightcap tonight is Anaheim in Edmonton playing the Oilers at 8:30. The LA Columbus game got postponed today.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that because of the snow, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Ohio got kind of wrecked.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously the Sixers are playing right now in the early bird because they got a little bit of snow over there up at Charlotte right now too. I don't know what that score is to tell you exactly, but
let me peek in really quick. I'll let you know.
So
Charlotte is up 104. Is that 87? No, 104-57 with less than 3 to play in the third.
Oh, jeez. Crazy.
Did St. Joe's prep dress for the Sixers instead of the Sixers?
Right.
I'm just curious.
That's like old school. Like, what do you call it? Like the mercy rule on baseball.
They let the equipment squad.
Yeah.
Water boys and that stuff.
They let the training staff here.
We asked for the Sixers score, Austin, not for the Delaware Blue Coats.
Actually, it's more like South Carolina's score every time when they beat a non-juggernaut team. Don Staley's team, but on the opposite side. Yikes. Christ almighty.
Man, the Hornets are actually a bit of an exciting team this year, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised.
Yeah, whose team is that? That's LeVar Ball's son,
right?
Lamelo, right? Yeah.
Him, Mikal Bridges.
No, Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges. Yeah,
I keep on getting confused with Mikal all the time. They're not related though, right?
No. But I'm always envious of Mikal Bridges because the Sixers should have had him. That's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's a full-on epic rant on my part too, man. In his hands.
Oh yeah, but that's the thing with the Flyers
and the Nova Knicks were in town this weekend.
That's the part we can all be kind of grateful for is that the Flyers somehow missed all the postponing for the snowfall in the winter.
Yeah,
but I mean, I watched a little bit of that Denver game with my daughter, and my daughter was like, "Why isn't it snowing there?" And then all of a sudden it starts snowing. She's like, when did it start snowing? And I'm like, about 10 minutes ago. She's like, but the field's covered. I'm like, I understand. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Just the way she goes.
So, I mean, look.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like, Flyers hockey's heating up, and the cold weather is keeping us all inside.
I guess we're all gonna get larger, like Leon from Airplane.
Yeah. Don't call me Roger.
Yeah, don't call me Stenham.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that Rangers Bruins game just to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I am too, gonna admit. I think that's gonna be a good matchup to watch like closely tonight after that Flyers game goes final. Because like I want to see what Boston's identity is, especially before they put the Flyers on Thursday. So that's something to keep.
And plus just the matchup of Panarin and Pasternak is always good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also Zibanejad too. Like I think I don't know about you guys, but like I heard something about Zibanejad during the week, but. Is it possible that he could be a trade partner or something? Or if I heard that correctly?
I heard a lot of. Now he's another guy who's got a no trade clause, so he gets to pick where he wants to go. Yeah. But he had said there was a report out that he wants to stay in New York for the rebuild. The problem is New York does not want to carry his salary.
That's
the problem. So they want to dump the salary and bring in another, couple prospects that they can pair, because in New York's own infamous wisdom, they still think they're in rebuild mode. They've never really said we're not, but they got Panarin and they got Zibanejad, and they're like, okay, they're two quality good guys, but then there'll be salary dumps. Well, they would have been if you didn't look at the fine print in their contract, which stated that there's a no trade clause. Like, that's the problem. Just because the contract travels doesn't mean the clause changes.
It's kind of weird that the Rangers have this kind of problem. I mean, you never thought the Rangers would have these type of problems like all these years. I mean, you thought about like the Lindros trade, or Mark Messier going to Vancouver, or like the list goes on and on.
Even more recently, them acquiring both Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko and making a playoff run.
That's right.
In the midst of a rebuild was kind of crazy. They also wound up getting Adam Fox, Alexei Lafreniere. Like they've brought even Capo Caco, like all these really good talents they brought in either through offseason acquisition or draft to be able to help sort of bolster this rebuild that they were doing, make those really good playoff runs right around COVID time, like the year before, the year of, and the year after.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the wheels came off.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
quick,
definitely.
And now they're just floundering, trying to find anything they can plug into the supply that can run. And
mind you too,
it's really rough to watch.
It is like confusing. It's kind of like a land of confusion. Gonna admit,
it's like putting a V8 engine into an Oldsmobile,
a Beetle,
like a Ferrari engine into an Oldsmobile. Will this run fast? No, it's still an Oldsmobile. Just because you put a really fancy engine into a really old car does not make the old car run faster.
Oh my god! Or no, it'd be like one of those Plymouths back in the day.
Oh god,
like an old Plymouth in a Ferrari's car. My god. So yeah, I mean, to piggyback what you said about the Rangers thing here too. I mean, Trouba was another one that they had to buy out too, along with Chris Kreider. They both went to
Kreider. Gosh,
yeah, and also they got rid of one of their goaltenders too, Gorgiev too, at the time before Shesterkin came in.
Didn't they have Callahan at one point?
They did.
Ryan Callahan, Brandon Dubinsky.
Yeah, they had
those were guys that sort of
great.
Yeah,
I was a big
they wound up
fan.
They wound up being Tortorella exiles. Dubinsky wound up going to Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good career. I think Columbus too. Like Kevin Hayes was one of those guys who wound up being a bit of an exodus from him, which is why he wound up coming to Philly, and then
he came here, and
then Torts came here,
Yes.
and then he was gone again.
Yeah.
And I mean, I tell you this
I think
right
Hayes
now.
was with I mean, he was with St. Louis at one point, was he
Yeah.
not? I
Yeah.
thought he was.
But
He was
this
with
is
Pittsburgh now, though. But still,
this is
Yeah.
the other part. I think somewhere, somehow, there should be a John Tortorella clubhouse with all like the players that like either got released from teams
anger
or
management,
traded away.
Tortorella.
Yeah, it's like it's like one of those AA meetings where they sit around in a
Oh,
circle in
yeah.
a basement.
Right.
That needs to be the John Tortorella clubhouse.
Just talking
Hi,
about how
my
Torts
name
did
is
him
Kevin
wrong.
Hayes.
7
I'm
AK, how
a
you
John-
doing, buddy?
It's like, hi, my name's Kevin Hayes. I'm a John Tortorella reject. Hi, Kevin.
Right. It's like, yeah. Well, it's coming from a guy that knows two people in the family that are part of AA, they'll definitely
Yeah.
treat them like one of their own too, for sure.
Yes.
It's kind of like it's a Tortorella AA rehab or something. Like, what did Tortorella do to you?
Instead of it Alcoholics Anonymous.
Tortorella
anger-
Anonymous.
No, it's Anger Adjustment Anonymous.
Angry Tortorella
AAA.
Anonymous. ATA.
I'm part of the ATA. The
Hey,
AFT? No, the
I should be a
ATA.
part of the ATA too. He fooled me too, man. I thought he
Yeah.
was gonna come in here and change it around like Laviolette, but no. Tortorella's an ass. Tortorella's an ass, man.
I hate to say it, but I kind of called that.
Yeah, you called it. You did.
Because that was back.
I think
when
you and
was,
Mike Loro did too. Back
yeah.
at Devereaux Sports, I think.
Yeah, because I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, "Dude, you're crazy," and I was like, "Nah, bro. When was the last time Tortorella had a really good run as a head coach? What was that? 04, 05? Like, come
04,
on,
yeah.
you can't.
Before
You
the
can't
lockout,
pass the
yeah,
line.
right before the
Yeah,
lockout.
yeah.
That's right.
yeah,
The,
like
the game passed him by, and
Yeah,
he couldn't accept it.
the term that I used to describe his coaching style at the time, and I will use it every single time, is draconic.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how much hockey has evolved in 20 years, but that man still thinks that it is 2005 right now.
That he does. And that's why he probably doesn't have a coaching job anymore. He's probably people said, he's just a cancer.
I think it's more the fact like the league's like you have to like stop calling everyone all the time, please.
Yeah.
Like stop calling my friends. Like let's just leave everyone alone.
Yeah. Before it gets dicey, right? Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I know we got to wrap up here with but the thing I was kind of not shocked, but kind of annoyed about with Tortorella was that he treated the players like they didn't belong, like the Couturiers, the Beach Cubs. Like, it's like, okay, first of all, are you here because you're only here so you won't be fined like Marshawn Lynch, or you're just here because you're trying to change the team around? And frankly, he didn't do much of anything that changed the momentum of the team. The only thing that made it worse was that he made enemies with the locker room. It's like there was a lot of cause for concern right there. I mean,
The only thing I think he did for the team, and this is not like anyone could have done.
you might be a nice guy, but if you're behind closed doors, you're a dick. Like that's how I felt about it.
When the Flyers had to like unload guys like Giroux
Mhm.
and Voracek and guys like that, he took a lot of the heat when it came down to, okay, now what is the team going to do? And John, like Torch was like, relax, calm down. We got a plan. Like you can yell at me all you want. I'm just going to take it. Like whatever you got to do. Like
You kind of look like it was like another rich coach, I guess. Like,
But-
I'm a coach, you're not a coach.
But it seemed, I'll put even another parallel.
Chip
He
Kelly?
almost was like, Doc Rivers, where he's
Hmm.
like, oh, you think you know what you're doing because you're a reporter. No. You don't know what you're doing.
Hmm.
I'm the coach here. I know what I'm doing. And so when that is something that is said, but then not kind of brought to fruition, yes, this media and this fan base in this city will call you on your stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you don't fulfill what you're saying, like everyone's got to listen to me. I'm the smart guy in the room. You all have to listen to me. Okay, we'll listen. But then when everything that comes out of your mouth is asinine, then and it fails, then we're going to call you on your stuff. And then when we call you on your stuff, don't curse at us because we're holding your feet to the fire.
Because shit hit the fan.
That's what I think
truth.
Tocchet benefits. Tocchet played here as a player, so he knows
the fan base.
Reporters, right? He knows the reporters are going to say and do and ask what they're going to ask. He knows the temperature of this city because he knows how temperamental it can be when they lose, and he knows how rejoiceful it can be, and how much of a god you could be in this town when you win.
You know the thing I like about it too with Tocchet, I have to give a lot of credit here where credit is due. Tortorella and Tocchet rather, and Laviolette, all the time, regardless of what happened, they always cared for the media. They treated the media like they belong, and they also treated the media like they were their friend. With Rick Tocchet talks all the time, and he asks us about like, how do you think the Flyers play? How do you think like Jolson, or how do you think Ruotsalainen played tonight? He's like, he played good, and he tells you how he played good. He's not going to sit there and just give you one syllable answer. He's like, he played good. Next question, kind of like Tortorella would do. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing I love about Tocchet is that I'm learning more about the game. Like, I'm watching the game and I'm learning more about the game too. That he's actually one guy that knows the game well, and he also knows how to coach the game well too.
Yeah. It's the difference between how a guy can transfer his knowledge as a player into his knowledge as a coach.
Absolutely.
So that he could coach players to be good players. Like you got to think about the players that Tocchet played with.
Yeah.
Like when he was a player.
Greg Berube.
Or guys that he was around in locker rooms or shared ice with. Like guys like Mario Lemieux and stuff like that. Like these guys.
He was an assistant to Gretzky in Phoenix,
yeah,
wasn't he?
That's right. Forgot about that.
So you got to understand, he's got all this knowledge up here, not just as like a player or not just as this arrogant asshole that's just going to sit there and tell you, I'm smart, you're not.
Right.
He's sitting here telling you, and just like James is saying, he's sitting here telling you, okay, this is how this guy played well. I'm explaining to you how I'm evaluating him. That's why when there was the discontent between Mitchkoff and him earlier in the season, people got in a huff puff about, oh, does this mean Tocchet doesn't like Mitchkoff or Mitchkoff doesn't like Tocchet? And Tocchet put it simple. It's the heat of the moment. And I had something to explain to him, and he explained to me that he understood it. We're both very fiery guys. We're going to fire at each other. I understand he respects me, but we are going to have those tensions. But I'd rather have that guy that's fired up about something than a guy who just waves me off and doesn't care. Right. And so what Tocchet's perspective is, I'm going to explain to you not only about how I evaluate my players, but how I handle my room, how I handle that locker room. Right. And that matters to all of us, because if this season is successful and we're in the playoffs, we're going to want to know how he got us there.
How we can build on
how we can continue to build on that. But if this team fails and doesn't make the playoffs again, there's going to be other questions. There's going to be, how did we fail? Why did we fail? What are the things that we can build on to not fail again?
Right.
Those were
something that the Phillies don't do it, sadly.
Right. Well, those were questions that John Tortorella could never answer.
No.
So that's why I think there's a big difference with Tocchet.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, sometimes good things have to come to an end, but but the good thing about it too is, though, this was a great pod again. Once again, boys, I really do appreciate it during a trying time, obviously, in the snow and also what's going on and everything about that included. I definitely needed this today more than anything. But guys, that's going to wrap it up here today for this edition of This Week in Flyers Hockey. I want to thank Austin and Joey for also doing an admirable job as always. Austin, where can people see you next, good friend?
Right over here at twitch.tv/Hambo26. I'm about halfway through all the Paragon levels for my Diablo 4 character. There's actually, I did the math wrong. It's not 260 total levels. It's 360.
Holy
300
hell.
of them are strictly
Nice.
Paragon, and I am at 143 or something like that. It's a grind.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Aside from that, still doing Fallout New Vegas, still doing Chrono Trigger, going to be getting back into Baldur's Gate soon, doing some more D&D stuff with that. I run a D&D campaign every other Sunday on my Twitch channel. This past Sunday, we just had another session. So not this upcoming Sunday, but the following Sunday, I'll be running that again. And also this Saturday on the Hardcore Sports Network channel, alongside Mitch and a couple other guys, I'm going to be stopping in to participate in their watch along of the Royal Rumble.
Wow, cool, excellent.
That's in the Royal Rumble's in Riyadh, starts at 2 p.m. here stateside. So I'll have
you got
some time
any?
before
You got
my D&D
anybody?
session.
You got anybody who's going to win the Royal Rumble? They did for viewers at home.
Honestly, I think it's gonna be Cody.
Finishing the story again,
because they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna do Cody Drew again at Mania, because the storyline that they did together was incredible.
Yeah,
and I really think the Cody Drew storyline is far from over. Aside from Cody, my personal one that I want to see Finn Balor win it and get a shot at the title that he never truly actually lost.
Gotcha.
I think it could be Gunther. That's just me. I just think they're pushing Gunther.
Yeah.
They could be pushing Gunther a lot.
We're also getting AJ Styles' final match at the Royal Rumble against in a lot of people's opinions the opponent that gave him the best match of his career in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So that's going to be a must-see match. Just everything about this Rumble is pretty big this year, and I'm liking everything that I'm seeing so far for the card. So I'm looking very much forward to it and what it means for a lot of these guys and girls' roads to WrestleMania.
Yeah, cool, man. Joey, where can people see you next, good friend?
So I have a couple things that I've been working on, a couple side projects. So number one, if you could see down there where my name is, the thing, follow me on X at Joe Wolf 112680. That's Joe Wolf 112680 on Twitter, X. So today I posted a thread. I've been posting a couple of them. I am doing it's a birthday blog. But it's there for sports athletes, both former and more former than anything else. So today is the great one's birthday, Wayne Gretzky. We brought him up earlier. So today is Wayne Gretzky's birthday.
How about that?
And I have on my Twitter, if you go to my Twitter, I put up a thread of a blog, a birthday blog, kind of a biography about Wayne Gretzky that I put up on my website. So you can link to it on that thread if you go to my Twitter at Joe Wolf 112680. The interesting thing is we have products that are in tribute to Wayne Gretzky on that blog at the bottom. So if you want to purchase something, I think I actually found a Wayne Gretzky rookie card, if you can believe it or not. That is worth a ton of money. But I think it's beneficial for those people that are collectors and for people that are just Wayne Gretzky fans. I brought this up with Mitch the other day. Wayne Gretzky, what was the better era for Wayne Gretzky, Edmonton, LA, or New York? And then the second question was, which one was the better jersey for Gretzky to wear? The Oilers, the Kings, or the Rangers? And me and him both came to the agreement that he was better in Edmonton. The Kings jersey was better looking on him because of the sleek black.
Yeah.
And so
I like that jersey too.
Yeah. I was like, I kind of dig that.
So do
And he was
check
at that
out-
point in the career where he was wearing the turtlenecks underneath too. So you
Yeah,
had
no,
the white
that was
turtleneck
with
underneath
the
the black
that was
jersey.
the
Oh, that was
Rangers.
just the Rangers. Okay,
That was the Rangers.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
started doing that with the Rangers, and he looked ridiculous with it.
You
He
know,
looked like he was going to a ski lodge.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? If you want to talk about the weirdest jersey that he wore was the St. Louis Blues in '96
Yes.
with Steve Yzerman.
Yes.
When he
Yeah.
lost to Yzerman in the Blues, Yzerman and the Red Wings.
So
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
check
I still keep on forgetting he was with the Blues.
check out my Twitter. We put up. We're gonna have another one coming up soon for Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson's birthday is coming
Very
up
cool.
soon, so stay tuned to that. Plenty of products, plenty of content. So check my Twitter out. Give me a follow, give me a like, give me a retweet. Joe Wolf 112680. As far as Hardcore Sports Network and Streampunk Entertainment PA, we are going to have another edition of Patterson Ave Sports Show. As of right now, it's going to be me and James, but I'm okay with that because I think there's a lot that me and James have to unpack when it comes down to the Philly sports scene, both with the Philadelphia Eagles and with NFL.
Winning is the hardest part, Joe, with this offensive coordinator position.
With the Sixers. With the Sixers and with the Flyers, and especially with the Phillies. There's a lot to unpack. So you might just be me and James for this Saturday. But if you want to tune
That's
in,
good, brother.
Hardcore Sports Network, Streampunk Entertainment PA, 9:00 this Saturday morning. Tune in, and then the following episode of Patterson Ave Sports Show, which will be airing on Valentine's Day. Cuddle up with your lover, cuddle up with your girlfriend, get that nice morning breakfast ready, and then tune in to the Patterson Ave Sports Show on February 14th to watch an interview that me and James and Austin put on with Jim Jackson, JJ from the Philadelphia Flyers, play-by-play guy. So that's all I got for now.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we'll be dissecting it all this week. Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but I feel like
No,
with
we're
how
good.
with the offensive coordinator search, the way it's going right now for the Eagles, I'll be a skeleton up against this wall covered in cobwebs by the time they find one.
Well,
not only that, if the Phillies
Hold
win
on.
it back in 2026 too.
Holding a map and a key in my hands.
Because
Or a tablet.
we did do Fly Like an Eagle this week because of Mitch being under the weather.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
James, I wanted to say, how does
Sure.
it make you feel that you being young as you are,
Yep.
that one of the candidates for the offensive coordinator position, Declan, was 29 years old? And I'm sitting there going,
wait, seriously?
yeah, he's 29.
He's actually younger than
He's
me.
younger than you.
Holy
I was like,
Christ.
so why
Holy
don't we just
Christ,
hire
man.
James Scorza and be done with this? Like, why don't we just
Hey,
end
look,
this?
I try to tell him. I say, hey, look, I'm literally a couple blocks down from Novacare. You can always call me at any time, Jeff.
Yeah, seriously. But I also
No, I
wanted to
know.
say, Austin,
It's been exhausting. Good
I told you, I think it was last episode or 2 episodes ago, that my daughter has been,
Mhm.
I've been trying to get her into gaming, and she's 5, so it's
I was going
tough.
to ask you, how's that going, dude?
She's tough. It's tough because she's 5. She has a little lack of focus, but she's getting into it here and there. I got her for my PS5. I got her the old Atari pack where it's
nice.
like
Oh,
the vintage
sweet.
Atari games like Centipede and Pac-Man.
Oh, heck yeah, and like
Millipede.
Defender and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my wife is playing it, and she's like, were these games always these fast? I was like, yeah, they were.
Yeah, all the time.
But she's like, these things are too fast for her. I'm like, did you let her try? I mean,
my wife and I we follow a YouTube channel called Game Grumps. It's a couple of guys who just play games and crack jokes all the time.
yeah.
So we're watching them currently play through OG RE2 from the late 90s.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
This dude is playing this game so frustratingly that I literally keep having to get up and walk out of the living room. I literally, because every single time he goes to the save box, it's like, I still have these 2 small keys, man. And I'm like, you should have gotten the custom handgun hours ago.
Like, I'm going crazy. I'm like, you don't have the custom handgun. You don't have the custom shotgun. You have next to no ammo. But, bro, you can live because you have so many herbs and first aid sprays. It hurts. Like,
You remind me of a buddy of mine. My buddy Derek will flip out like that too when he sees that stuff too. Oh my god!
And that's my internal monologue.
Yeah.
Exteriorly, I just go like this, and I get up and I walk.
Like my wife was like, we tried to play it and it didn't move. Like the thing didn't move. I'm like, are you sure it didn't move? I mean, like Atari didn't have a lot of movement.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
She's like, it didn't move. I'm like, okay, I believe you. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm sitting there, but my daughter loves Pac-Man. Like Pac-Man.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there you go.
Pac-Man's
There you go.
essential.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know, like the next generation is coming. We'll just see.
Oh,
my
yeah,
wife
dude.
gets frustrated, so they have the Sonic the Hedgehog Master Series.
Oh,
So they've
sick.
been playing that, and they got to a point where they can't make a jump. Now I don't have sight anymore, but I used to be the gamer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like my wife, anytime she got stuck when we played games, she like do it for me, and I'm like, okay. So I don't have sight, so she like hands me the controller, like do it for me. I'm like, did you miss the memo that I can't see the game anymore? Like I can't see where I'm jumping. She's like,
Yeah, I'd hate to burst your confidence in me bubble, but
right.
Sure, yeah.
That man is gone now.
you know
Sorry.
what? Screw it. Yeah, let's do it. Here we go.
And I still figured out, like, I didn't even play the game. Like, I played the game for a second, and I figured out how to do the speed burst, like the roll speed
Yep.
burst. And she's like, "What did you just do? How did you do that?" And I'm like, "You just hold this down and go like
just
this."
hold it
And-
down
and
and
she's
just
like-
hit the button that isn't jump.
Yeah, and she's like, "We couldn't figure out how to do that." I'm like, it's not that hard. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. So I have
man.
my wife
man.
trying to help my daughter
That's funny.
with video gaming. It's very,
funny.
very interesting.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man.
It's its own Twitch channel in of itself. All I
Hell
need to
yeah.
do is just
I
put
love
the
it.
camera on.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's
love that.
awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's been a great show, guys. I want to say, obviously, everybody out there that are still in the Philadelphia area, please stay safe, stay warm. By the way, if anybody's watching the Sixers game, I advise you to change the channel because it's really ugly now. But
If you're still watching the
that
Sixers
aside-
game, if you're still watching the Sixers game, a statement and a question. 1, don't. 2, why?
Yeah, if you have, like Lois Sparks say, if you have the opportunity, don't.
I just looked.
Third question.
I just looked at the score.
Oh
Third
my god,
question.
just did too.
Who's the team in blue? Like,
Well, whoever it is, it's like I guess Michael Jordan is playing in or something.
Okay,
But
okay.
overall-
It's not as bad as I thought. I mean, it's still bad. But
Oh,
it's
126,
126 to 90.
Oh,
We just scored a 3-pointer, so it's now a 36-point game.
okay,
yeah.
it's doable. We can come back.
Let's do it.
It's
Joe.
doable.
Joe, the rattled. Okay.
Oh my god. Oh
It's
my
as
god.
doable as a kicker making a field goal in that Denver game yesterday.
Oh god, what was that?
That
That was horrible. That was awful. I mean, even and
Ray
here's the other
Fink-
thing too, that the Broncos on the other hand didn't even kick the field goal the first time, and they kicked the field goal more times, and they keep on missing it. It's
yeah.
like,
Ray Finkel's rolling over in his grave.
oh
but-
god, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say so long for now. But I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the Flyers, they're gonna
Let's
have a
get
good
it.
week this week. Let's get
Let's
it.
get a good week. All right. So, and the quote, the great like Gene Hart would say, now for everyone behind the scenes and for everyone that made it work here. From all of us to all of you, happy. Good Flyers week, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm, stay cozy. Until then, we'll see you guys back here on Monday. Let's go Flyers and let's get it.